The University of Montevallo has been around for 123 years, with some buildings like King House and Reynolds Hall dating back even further. And of course, with age comes ghost stories. Welcome to the pilot episode of the M-Files, where we explore the supernatural throughout America's most haunted campus. I'm your host, Blip Spaghettis, part-time paranormal detective and full-time campus cop. And with me is my co-host and partner, Officer Donatella Pancakes.
I want to go ahead and apologize for any mistakes or technical difficulties we may have in this first episode. We're just off-duty campus police with no experience in film. Blip may want to sound professional, but we're not.
Of course we're professional. Will you be a little more supportive, please? Before we introduce our first guest, we'd like to take some time to thank our new sponsor, Shelby County Pavers. Are you tired of getting your high heels caught between those inconvenient bricks on the walk to class? Just call Shelby County Pavers. They'll happily bury decades of university history with a fresh coat of concrete for a more sensible solution with a modern look. To save 15% on paving your morning route to class, use promo code TRIPPIN at checkout.
Our first guest today is Finley McGopher. Finley is a sophomore living the early 1900s. Dozens of students living in Main Hall have reported witnessing the ghost of a young girl screaming in agony. Today, another one of those claims have come forward. Thanks for coming to speak on the record, Finley.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. This has really been an eye-opening experience for me and I.
Finley, what exactly happened?
Oh, well, I was walking back to my room after a long study session at the library late Monday night. When I heard what sounded like a voice wailing at first, I just assumed an RA wasn't doing her job to keep visitors out. But then I realized the noise was approaching from behind.
Spooky stuff.
Or it could have just been a person behind you.
That's what I thought at first too, but I didn't see anyone. As it got closer, I realized the voice was actually sobbing. I was frozen in fear and suddenly started to slowly back away when the figure of a woman suddenly appeared in front of me. She grabbed me by the shoulders and started screaming in my face. I closed my eyes and fell back to the ground. When I finally opened them, though, she was gone.
And you didn't see her again?
I haven't. I thought maybe I was losing my mind. But a girl on my hall said she had seen the ghost recently, too.
What did the woman look like?
I don't really remember. It was so fast. She had these horrible burns. She looked like she was in so much pain. I was too scared to really get a good look, you know?
Did she say anything to you?
No, she just kept screaming and crying. It was kind of sad and also sort of annoying. I mean, we all have problems. You don't see me running around crying hysterically. Not that often, anyway.
There have been numerous claims like yours for over 100 years. The spirit that haunts Main Hall is one of Montevallo's most notorious. Young women just like you have come forward over the years with their own stories about seeing this weeping woman. Did you know that?
Not until I started asking around. Like I said, I thought I was crazy.
Before this episode, I would have thought you were too. But you're not. I promise you're not, because I've seen it as well.
You have?
I've got a surprise for you, Officer Pancakes. For 100 years, the stories in Main Hall have been simply that, just stories. No evidence that ever existed to corroborate the claims. Until now. Just this morning, we received undeniable video evidence that proves a spirit does, in fact, reside within Maine. Would you care to watch it, Finley?
Oh my God, that'd be incredible. Yes, I'd love to.
All right, let's roll the clip.
That's her. That's her.
Let's not be so sure, Mrs. McGopher. All we saw was a door creak. It could have been any spirit.
No, not the door, the crying girl who appears and disappears in the corner.
What girl? I don't see a girl.
Her, right there. She just appeared out of nowhere.
Aw, come on. That could have easily been a student. Maybe the camera just glitched or something.
What? You think the door is better proof than a girl in a chaired nightgown who matches my exact description that literally disappears right before your eyes?
Just seems a little far-fetched, don't you think?
Anybody could have been on the other side of that door. It could have been the wind.
Sure. Wind in the building? I don't think so.
She literally disappeared.
Probably just a glitch. The door seems more plausible to me, and I'm kind of the expert here.
But you see her, right?
Yeah, I see a girl. I mean, that could be anyone.
She disappeared.
Okay, I think it's time to move on to the next segment.
But
Thanks for coming in. You were a great help. Bye-bye now.
Now, where were we? Oh, yes. So the video showing the door creaking open was more than enough proof that this ghost exists for me. But for some like Donatella, we needed something more solid. So I headed down to Main Hall myself to investigate. While there, my radars were going off the charts.
What radars?
At one point, I was standing alone in an empty hall. All of a sudden, an icy wind slowly pushed through the hall. It was so unnervingly cold, I felt the hairs on my back stick up. This wasn't a natural feeling at all. It was the most exposed I felt since the purple side pajama party my senior year.
Yikes, we'll need to edit that line out.
I turned my head toward where the freezing temperature was originating from, and I swear I heard a voice whisper, "Excuse me, I know you seem busy and all, but would you mind hurrying up? It's me weeping hours and I could really use a good old crying."
A ghost said all that to you?
Yes, I swear.
And I'm guessing you have no proof.
That's where you're wrong, partner. That wasn't the extent of our conversation. I explained to the spirit what was there and even asked her to come on the show with us. So I hope the world is prepared because you are about to meet a real ghost in the first ever live interview encounter with a supernatural being when we come back from this commercial break.
Montevallo is listed as one of the most beautiful public college campuses, but it has so much more than good looks. It's been named a College of Distinction 7 years running. Plus, it offers 75 majors and the chance to belong to more than 90 campus organizations. Visit youbelong at montevallo.com to learn more.
Before the break, we spoke with Finley McGopher, a sophomore student at Montevallo who claimed to have had a dangerous encounter with a spirit. We showed some video evidence of a door creaking open quite suspiciously, which I find is irrefutable proof of a paranormal being.
Irrefutable?
It's a word, Donatella. After that, I told my testimony in which I encountered the suspected ghost in the same building just hours after Finley first came forward with her own story. As previously promised, we're now live with that same spirit, Miss Condi Cunningham.
Thanks for joining us, Miss Cunningham.
Please just call me Condi.
Condi, we have so many questions for you.
First, let me just say thanks for having me, and I'm more than delighted to answer all of your questions. I like to think I have a pretty extensive knowledge of both the worlds of the living and the dead after this many years of life, if that's what you want to call it. Oh, and that was in fact me sitting in the corner of that video. I think the door opened just because of some wind.
Unlikely. Anyway, how about you tell us your story so everyone at home can get an idea who you are?
Well, I was a student here back in the early 1900s.
And what did you study?
Undecided, still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life.
What made you want to come to Montevallo?
No, I just ended up here like everyone else. Not much to it, really. It's a shame I didn't go somewhere I actually liked, since I'm stuck here for all eternity and all.
And how did you die?
Donatella, you can't just ask someone how they died. That's rude.
No, it's okay. I'm not offended. I was on the 3rd floor of Maine one night when it caught fire. I didn't survive long after.
Do you know what started the fire?
I don't think anyone does.
Is it true that your face melted to the door and the image still appears there to this day?
People are always freaking out about that. It was literally one bad smoke selfie, and now no one would let me live it down. I wanted to be remembered, but I didn't realize I was using such a bad angle. Just my luck.
To be honest, I never believed in ghosts until this moment. I'm kind of at a loss for words.
That's understandable. Like your parents, we've never believed in you either.
Ouch, that one must burn.
Kidding. I'm glad to be on the show. The only thing I've ever wanted is to be remembered.
That's what we want to make happen. We want to tell how the world your story. How old are you?
I've lost count, but I was just 19 when I tragically died.
I'm so sorry to hear about that.
No, it's okay. Thank you, though. Getting to talk to someone is going to help me come to peace with it all. It's nice to talk to a living person. Conversations with other ghosts feel so lifeless sometimes.
So there's more than one ghost in Maine?
Oh, yeah. There's a few of us, but they mostly keep to themselves.
What about the rest of campus?
Sure. There's more. Ever heard of Edmund King?
The guy who built King House?
That's him. He might be the oldest ghost here. He's pretty lively at night. The theater building was also used as a Civil War hospital, but that's a completely different story.
What does he do in that house?
Most of the time, students can spot him counting his money in his home. When he's feeling a bit more lively, he might wander around in search of his buried treasure.
Buried treasure?
Yeah. Legend says that he buried some gold during the Civil War to keep it out of the Union's hands. I guess the old geezer forgot where he put it, though, because he's always walking around with a shovel and a lamp. Maybe one day he'll find it.
Not if I find it first.
Condi, what can you tell us about the afterlife?
It ain't half bad, really. It gets a bit boring after a bit. I can fly, so that's pretty cool. But the ceilings are low in Maine, so I can't go that far inside, and I can only survive outside of my death area for about half an hour or so.
Death area?
That's what I call it. If you die in a building like Maine, for example, you're cursed to live there for the rest of your eternal life. I could leave for like half an hour, but if I don't go back, then I'll die again. That's one reason I'm always crying. I hate those walls.
Well, let's keep an eye on the clock so we can get you back in plenty of time.
Don't fret too much about it. If I die, at least I won't have to share another room with Margaret any longer.
Who's Margaret?
Some human girl who's moved into my room. She's not really friendly. Every time I try to start a conversation, she runs out the door and requests a room change. Kind of hurts my feelings, to be honest.
Do you have any other powers besides flight?
I do. I can walk through walls, possess people to an extent, and shapeshift my appearance into something else for short periods of time.
What can you shapeshift into?
Anything really, just as long as it's roughly my size.
Can you shapeshift for us right now?
Wow, you may be right after all. Your friend here is rude.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
That's all I'm here for, isn't it? So I can do some neat little tricks and get you views.
No, this is all just a misunderstanding. Donatella, you didn't mean that, right?
Of course not. I'm sorry, Condi.
I didn't jingle in here and ask for you to do a cartwheel, did I? No, of course, I won't shapeshift for you.
I'm sorry.
Save it for my pals, officer. We'll be hunting you every chance we get. Don't you sweat it.
Connie, please don't leave. I'm sorry for my partner. She can be a real idiot sometimes. I would like to keep this conversation going if you'd like.
I wouldn't like that at all. Your friend should learn some manners. Do you realize how humiliating it is to just ask someone to shapeshift? You mortals wouldn't understand.
Condi, please come back.
So I can be an idiot, huh?
I can't help. You asked the woman to shapeshift.
How was I supposed to know that it's offensive in ghost culture?
Well, you ruined the show now. I hope you're happy.
Ruin the show? We didn't only just prove that ghosts exist, but we sat down and had a conversation with one. How's that a failure?
I don't know. Could have been better.
Could have been better. You've got to be kidding me.
Suck on some of this, you jerk!
Oh! Oh my gosh!
I think that's ectoplasm, like in Ghostbusters.
It's in my mouth!
No, stop it.
Help me!
I guess that's where good place to wrap up. Thanks everyone for watching. I think we made some progress today. Maybe we'll be back next week. Probably not. I'm going to be kind of busy, so.
It's in my eyes.
Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time. Well, that didn't work out.